sure how this is gonna work. We kind of know what happened last time I tried to do a video outside. And I'm in my front yard. So I'm kind of waiting for the neighbors to all come out, look, and say, oh, that mom, she's finally hit the can. She's talking to herself now. Alright, so it's time for another Tidbit Tuesday with Mason. And these are just as short as I can make them videos, just talking a little bit about what we read. I've been working through Parents and Children. I've been working through the third book. And I kind of just set that aside because that one is a lot of processing and it's a lot of philosophical speech, and it was really hard to kind of make a coherent video, especially when you're trying to... Children are gonna come! It's especially when you're trying to share with your viewers. So today I pulled from Home Education, and I'm going to go into a little bit about this because there's home education and there's school education. Charlotte Mason had a school that children would attend. I'm also next to a very busy street, like one of our main busy streets. I'm right off of it. So I'm sure we're going to hear motorcycles and everything else. It's the fair this weekend, which is also not too far from me that way. I hate the fair. Crowds and noise and crowds and music and bleh. So Charlotte Mason had a school, and then she wrote a book on how to teach children, and then she also wrote training and educating children under 9 home education. So this week I'm going through basically being outdoors. It's a beautiful time this year for us. We had a high of, I'm kind of mixing it up with 75 now, which is beautiful for us here in the Mojave Desert. It can get so high. The summers are just brutal, and we're in beautiful weather now, and even Mom will be outside as long as I have a triple dose of Zyrtec in my body, and it's just beautiful. So because of that, we've been going for more walks. We are spending much more time at the park. If you follow me on Instagram, I've shared a lot of that so that you can get a daily dose and hopefully be encouraged to do that yourself. We're about a 10-minute walk away. The park is about a 10-minute walk away for us, so I do that as much as I can. It's so nice. I love it. And even at our other house, we were literally a block away from a bike path that ran about 2 miles, and we could just kind of take our evening walks there. But so I'm going into part 2, Outdoor Life for the Children, a Growing Time. And so I'm going to try to read this, keep it short and snappy as much as I can, so bear with me. People who live in the country know the value of fresh air very well, and their children live out of doors with intervals within for sleeping and eating. As to the latter, even country people do not make full use of their opportunities. On fine days, when it's warm enough to sit out with wraps, why should not tea and breakfast, everything but a hot dinner, be served out of doors? For we are an overwrought generation, running on nerves as cabbage runs to seed, and every hour spent in the open air is a clear gain, tending to the increase of brain power and bodily vigor, and to the lengthening of life itself. Never be within doors when you can rightly be without. That is such a big thing with Charlotte Mason, right? Never be within doors when you can be without. I think I've heard that so many times in the past year and really taking it to heart. But I'm going to read another section here, and then we're going to kind of just discuss it briefly as possible as we can. But for dwellers in towns and suburbs, that's us, right? But it is only for the people who live, so to speak, in their own gardens who can make a practice of giving their children tea out of doors. For the rest of us, and the most of us, who live in towns or the suburbs of towns, that is included in the large question, how much time daily in the open air should the children have, and how is it possible to secure this for them? In this time of extraordinary pressure, education and social, perhaps some others first duty to her children is to secure for them a quiet growing time, a full 6 years of passive, receptive time, the waking part of it spent for the most part in the fresh air, and this not for the gain of bodily health alone. Body and soul, heart and mind are nourished with food convenient for them when the children are let alone, let to live without friction and without stimulus amongst happy influences which incline them to be good. Okay, I had to move. As you can see, the kids came and it was time for Mama to go. So there's so much to be said in this chapter, so much. And again, I'm trying to make this a tidbit, so it's just going to be shortened as much as humanly possible. But within this section, Charlotte Mason really talks about, you know, those of us, especially in town, it's only 20 minutes usually to take a carriage, take an omnibus, and go to the country. How many of us have parks? How many of us just have opportunities that we're not taking advantage of? And those are the times that we can be taking our children and spending all of the day there. And remember, these are children up until the age of 6, and I really, or 9. Children under the age of 9. And so spending a full day out of doors, she goes more into details like teaching them how this is, giving them opportunities to observe and not bringing books. I thought that was so funny when I was reading it earlier, and I've read this section before, but she's like, don't bring books, let this be their time to explore. And how many times do I bring a book with me to the park to just share it with the children, and they're just like, there's stuff to do, Mom, can you leave me alone? But I do it to the park. I'm not in the country, but we're in a different world now. And that's not to say one is better than the other. We're just in a different world. And I like how she said it's a refreshing time for our mind. And I think it's especially important today when there is so much stimulation going on, that you're just sitting and being a child. I mean, I'm watching my kids now and I'm getting refreshed just from that. And I think the overwrought mother, which she talks about, is key here. You know, definitely we need some of those times not to think about another math concept to teach or another grammar page to correct or whatever it is. And even, I think it's so important that even in a Charlotte Mason philosophy of education, you can homeschool and still apply Charlotte Mason principles. You can have your textbooks. I'm going to say something that, you know, is definitely like, oh, but have your textbooks, but still apply a Charlotte Mason idea of taking your children out of doors. Giving them something more to look forward to, something that will open their mind and encourage them and refresh their bodies, because children are born persons and we're still learning. I'm still learning, us parents are still learning every year how to best to help our children. So whether your child goes to school or not, I still think you can take some of these Charlotte Mason principles and use them in your own home. And that was this whole idea of putting out these tidbits for my viewers, just to kind of encourage and help you. And I hope it was. And this whole idea of taking our children out of doors and taking it with food, you know, biscuits and fruit. You know, today we went to the park and I didn't have as much as I thought I did in the fridge and pantry, and I ended up just making a bowl of tuna, no bread, no crackers, nothing. And we just brought a bunch of forks that everybody could, another apple? You know, I'll make some dinner, I'll make some food. We just had the tuna. I had cucumbers that I cut up, I had some apples that I cut up, and I had some cantaloupe. I feel like there's something else. Oh, I made my husband and I a quick salad, and that's what we took to the park. And you know what? The kids are satisfied. They didn't really want to sit and eat. They wanted to go and explore, and I got to read a little bit of Anne, and the kids are coming, so this is my cue to end it here. That things don't have to look picture perfect. Just go and enjoy being outside. That's what I love being as That's what I loved doing as a kid, and it's what my kids love doing. And I have no doubt that they spend much more time outside than I give it credit for. And so that's going to be it for this video. Take your children outdoors, snow boots and all. Do it. And enjoy this time with them. Enjoy the wonder. Listen for the bird calls. Listen for the silence. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Honey, you got apple?
No, he's filling me. Us.
Katie, are you swinging?
That's all it's there. Oh, no, the snake.